see one of the officers holding her hand. They're bringing up this word gurgle. Then she starts saying, okay, baby gurgled, even though initially she said that the baby did nothing, made no sound. So they disregarded that. Let's look at the portion of that interview where the word cremation comes about. Or not. Not yet. Okay. All right. So, Holly, tell me this. You know, there have been a lot of comments online that say, okay, well, if you're telling the truth, then no one can get you to say anything otherwise. Tell me why that argument doesn't necessarily work.
Oh, that absolutely is not the case. I think it's a layman's idea that if you're innocent, if you're not guilty, then how would you get someone to that point? But sprinkled throughout both of these investigations and interrogations is the word, I'm 100% sure that you know that the baby was alive. The male officer said that. The other thing is the hand holding. And I was watching Skylar when she was about to say the word gurgle. She turns and looks at the female officer whose hand she's holding, who just previously said the word gurgle.
Right.
So I think that this expert witness for the defense has laid out exactly how this is possible, and this really fits the bill. I've represented clients, and oftentimes they are young or they don't have a lot of education, who have absolutely confessed or given a version of a story to police.
Central Park 5, that's an example.
Exactly.
I was thinking about that.
They did absolutely none of the stuff that they said that they did, but they were in there for so long in a small room, and they were told they would go home.
It's an attempt to get out of whatever is about to happen, and she's terrified. She knows now she's coming back in for a second interview, and the first part of that second interview is a series of complex, closed-ended comments that the officers recap what happened in the first interview.
Yeah.
So she absolutely fits the bill of what this expert just testified to.
I agree. Okay, I'm being told that the attorneys are in the courtroom. Still no judge, still no jury. So we've got to take a quick break. Stay with Court TV Live for gavel-to-gavel coverage of Ohio versus Richardson. And don't forget, if you're away from your television, you could still get your Court TV. Go to our website, CourtTV.com, or you can find us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You'll get the latest coverage of our current trials as well as our collection of trials on demand.
Brooke Skylar Richardson. She was a former cheerleader, and it's just a couple of days after prom.
If members of the community were to find out
that she gave birth,
that was something that simply was not going to be accepted.
Did she kill her own newborn baby, or was the child stillborn before she buried the body in her parents' backyard?
Morning on May 7th, at home in her bathroom alone, she delivered a stillbirth infant in the bathroom, in the toilet, at approximately 3 a.m.
The defense's medical expert bolsters Skylar Richardson's story about what happened to her baby girl. And the jury sees a different side of the defendant. Richardson's father takes the stand to describe the Skylar he knows and loves. Now, the defense's case in chief started out strong, but can this father-son defense duo maintain that momentum throughout the rest of this trial? Gavel-to-gavel coverage of Ohio versus Skylar Richardson continues right now. Good morning and welcome to Court TV. I'm Yodit Tawalde. We are in day 6 of the state of Ohio versus Skylar Richardson. We expect court to begin any moment, but while we wait, let's look back at some of what happened yesterday inside the courtroom.
Yes, I confirm that I was aware, and so, yes.
Okay, and you chose not to be here yesterday afternoon?
Yes,
and you
Your
were
Honor.
okay with that going forward without you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you aware that she was cheering Skylar on to lose weight?
I was not.
What's the biggest regret in your life, Scott?
Not having an attorney for the second interrogation.
Indeed, early in the morning on May 7th, at home in her bathroom alone, she delivered a stillbirth infant. At the 26th week visit, based on the facts we knew, she was not 32 weeks. She was 39 to 39 and a half weeks, which meant that her fundal height at that visit was lagging by 7 centimeters. 2 reasons they're not going to gurgle.
Go ahead.
Underwater. One is the mammalian dive reflex. If they go underwater, they're not going to breathe until they come out. And number two, they have no air in their lungs to blow out and gurgle yet.
He said, you know, of all the things, I looked at this, and I watched the interrogation of Skylar multiple times. And by saying that, and then coming to this conclusion, here is another individual who is unrelated to law enforcement, a physician, who said, I looked at these and I believe that she was stillborn, which also says, I believe she was coerced.
These comments indicate that the suspect will receive zero punishment if she confesses. Not a light sentence, not a benign treatment, but zero punishment.
Minimization can help put them at ease with that if they can then not focus on the consequences, but just saying what they want to say. Is that fair?
I'm stuck with yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Fair, I think it's a little misleading to leave it there.
To conceal a baby, deliver it in the middle of the night, and then bury that baby in the backyard, would you even be able to fathom that from Skylar?
Never.
So is it fair to say that we don't always know what people are capable of?
The Skylar I know would not do that, and I firmly believe that.
We now can expect a rebuttal case, though, from the state now that character of the defendant is an issue in the trial. Maybe then we'll hear from the mother or even Detective Carter.
Here with me in the studio, criminal defense attorneys Brian Gaither and Holly Waltman, who both are former prosecutors as well, so we get the best of both worlds. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with me. All right, so court is about to get started soon. We do have a live shot of the courtroom now. As you can see, the defendant is inside the courtroom talking to her attorney. Still no jury, still no judge. So I want to bring in my panel to talk about the last witness that the defense presented, Leanne Lyons. And Holly, you told me that she seemed odd, or the testimony was just odd. Tell me why.
There was a crack in her testimony when, I don't recall if it was defense counsel or the state, they asked her, have you hung out with Skylar socially?
Yeah.
Have you been around her outside of work? And the answer was no.
Right.
And so really, how much does she know her? If I was the state, I would have dug in on that. I would have stayed there for a much longer time. It felt very rushed on the cross from the state. And honestly, again, like we were talking about earlier, we started with the personal character witness of her dad. Mm-hmm. And then we switched to experts. And then now we're back.
Holly, I'm actually getting word that the judge is on the bench now, so I want to take the viewers inside the courtroom so we don't miss a thing.